My name is Aria Lane. I'm 31 years old, and I make a living building hiring systems that actually work. Tonight, the cranberry sauce completes its third orbit around the table without landing near my plate. It's almost impressive, the choreography of it. Aunt Valerie's bangles flashing, Uncle Ron's smile set too wide, Mark narrating the handoff like a sportscaster calling a safe play. The dish moves. I don't. Dad, Thomas Lane, 32 years at the same company, self-appointed keynote speaker of Thanksgiving, doesn't stand to take the floor. He never has to. Loyalty, he says, the words swelling him like helium. One company, one ladder. That's how you know what you're worth. His plaques stare down from the wall, little suns in frames. The light off their glass makes the silver knife beside the turkey blink. Aria, Uncle Ron says, setting his fork down with real curiosity, and for a second I soften. What are you working on these days? I heard something with tech. I open my mouth to answer. Simple, true, breathable. Dad cuts cleanly across my breath. She's sampling, he says, flicking a hand the way you shoo smoke. These portfolio careers. A ripple of committee laughter. Elaine, my mother, tilts her head the way you do at bad weather. Must be stressful, honey. Mark smirks into his wine like we share the same joke. We do, but not the one he thinks. I count how many times my story is told without me. At 5, I set my fork down carefully, the way you place something you could break if you squeezed. Around us, the room glows with tradition. The good china, the candle centerpieces, the calendar we've kept since I was a kid. Tradition is just a story that never got permission to change. Dad clears his throat for another title, another year, another safe decision dressed as bravery. The cranberry saucer brushes my elbow, almost generous, then drifts past. The knife flashes again. I can hear the furnace hum through the vent, steady as a metronome, counting beats between what I know and what I'm allowed to say. Excuse me, I say, my chair sliding back on hardwood. Mom's eyebrows knit. During dinner? Dad asks, as if the question might pin me to my seat. It's important, I say. He doesn't ask why. No one does. I walk down the hall toward the room with the plaques, the certificates, the glass that warps you if you stand too close. If they won't pass the dish, I'll change the table. And while I do, tell me where you're watching from. Drop it in the comments, because I want to know whose table this reminds you of, and who else is tired of being edited out. The office is a shrine to safe choices. Walnut shelves, glass that bends your face if you stand too close, plaques lined up like verdicts. I close the door behind me, and the sound is soft, padded, almost kind. My pulse isn't. I take out my phone and scroll to Maya Ortiz, FutureWorks senior editor, the only person who's asked me better questions than, "So what do you do?" She answers on the first ring. "Happy Thanksgiving, Aria. Are we still hiding or—" "Run it tonight," I say. A beat. Tonight? All channels. Website, socials, newsletter, push alerts. Final green light on photos. You have it. Her voice shifts into the crisp gear I like. We're locked. I'll stage for 20 minutes. Proof goes live at 18. Thank you, I say, and mean it. We hang up, and the silence swells. The furnace hum backs it like a bass line. I set a timer on my screen, 2012, 19:59. I text Leo, dropping the FutureWorks profile. He replies before the next digit flips. Proud of you. Breathe. 19:12. I move to Dad's desk. The certificate glass throws my reflection back at me, slightly warped, like a funhouse that forgot to be fun. I flatten the tremor in my hands by straightening his paperweight, the heavy globe he likes to spin before meetings. I don't touch the plaques. 17:40. Maya pings. Final slug. How Aria Lane quietly rebuilt talent acquisition. Subtitle: while everyone was looking elsewhere. Okay, okay. 16:21. I opened the photo gallery one last time. Me in a conference room with whiteboards, me on a red eye lit by a laptop, hands circling a deck with a team that doesn't need last names to do their jobs. None of it flashy, all of it true. 14:58. I breathe in for 4, out for 6. The old trick from consulting days when a boardroom forgets you're the adult in the room. 12:30. Another text from Leo. When it hits, don't explain. Let the record talk. 10:19. The house creaks. A fork taps a plate in the dining room, faint and rhythmic, like someone testing a mic. I sit on the arm of the leather chair and keep my eyes on the countdown. 7:40. Maya again. Cued. Push alert is primed. Ready. Ready. 4:10. The office feels smaller, as if the frames are leaning in to hear. I don't move. I don't rehearse. 2:03:1:12. My phone vibrates hard enough to slide on the desk. Push alert, bold and bright. FutureWorks Live. How Aria Lane quietly rebuilt talent acquisition. I watch the headline burn through the glass and paint itself across the plaques. The timer hits 0. The room holds its breath with me. I open the office door and follow the hum of voices back down the hall. The dining room light is warmer than the office glass, softer, but the air has shifted. Phones glow across the table like a second centerpiece. Aunt Valerie's reading glasses have slid halfway down her nose. She squints at Mark's screen. Uncle Ron has stopped eating altogether. Grandma Ruth keeps her fork moving, amused, as if she's decided not to miss a bite of either course, the turkey or the truth. I take my seat without scraping the chair. No one looks up at me first. They look down at me, through headlines and photos. Mark's mouth is open a little, his expression stuck between a laugh and a whistle. My mother blinks fast, policing screens on instinct. Why is everyone on their phones during dinner? Mom, Mark says, voice flatter than usual. You need to see this. He passes her his phone. The light lifts under her face and I watch her features rearrange. Recognition, surprise, something like pride that darts away before it can be named. Thomas, she whispers, pushing the phone toward my father. He takes it like it might burn him. The headline is big enough to read from 3 seats away. How Aria Lane quietly rebuilt talent acquisition. Under it, the subhead, clean and calm, while everyone was looking elsewhere. His knuckles go white around the phone. 7-figure consulting, he reads, even and slow, as if careful pronunciation could change the numbers. 30 under 31. It's work, I say. My voice lands without rushing. He doesn't look at me. Consulting isn't a real job, he recites, like a prayer he learned long ago and never questioned. No pension, no stability. It bought me health insurance, I say, and a portfolio that outperforms your pension. Stability isn't time served, it's options you can afford. Something vibrates against the wood, his phone, face down, buzzing hard enough to drift toward the edge. Uncle Ron slides it back with 2 fingers, the old reflex to save the glassware kicking in. The sound keeps coming, a stack of calls and messages knitting themselves into a single tone under the clink of cutlery. No one moves for a breath. I can hear the furnace in the vent again, steady, counting beats. Aunt Valerie is the one who breaks the quiet. Aria, she says, softer than I expect. This is beautiful. My father finally raises his eyes. There is a small, visible war in them. He is deciding which rule to keep, the one about meals or the one about me. Grandma Ruth sets down her fork and looks at him, clear and direct. Thomas, she says, the girl is speaking. Morning comes like a headline, too bright, all caps. My phone looks like it slept through a storm and woke up louder. Emails stacked, pings layered, my name pinned to posts from people who once introduced me as between things. I make coffee, watch the steam rise, and let the noise sort itself. It doesn't. An email lands from the Ledger, the national paper that likes its heroes tidy and its lessons reusable. We're preparing a companion piece, the editor writes. Would your father be available to share how he fostered your entrepreneurial spirit? I stare at the line until the words stop behaving. Another email follows from their features desk with a file of proposed headlines. Tech Dad's Pride. A father's wisdom behind a daughter's rise. Draft pull quotes. I always told Arya to think long-term, not chase trends. We practiced independence in our home. I sit down at my kitchen table. The wood is warm under my forearms. My jaw isn't. Leo pads in barefoot, reads my face before the screen. Let me guess, he says. They want Thomas to bless the miracle. They want him to author it, I say. He nods like we're in a meeting with the one client who always brings a broom to the finish line. Don't let him write this one. Another ping. The Ledger again, gentler. We're running on a tight turnaround. If you have context to add, we'd welcome it. The word context is polite for proof. I open the attachment with their draft. It's already threaded with a narrative I recognize. The patient father, the unconventional daughter he quietly believed in. They've never met my dinner table. I close the file. The apartment is quiet enough to hear the heater click. I open a blank document and type a title in all caps. My side. Not a manifesto, an inventory. I list the dinners where my updates got repurposed into his anecdotes. The graduation where he told people I was lucky to get by. The week I signed 3 clients and he asked if I'd considered applying at Mark's company for stability. I jot the dates I can verify without lifting a finger. I mark the ones I can source. Leo sets a mug by my keyboard. You don't have to bleed to tell the truth, he says. I know, I say, and keep typing anyway. By noon, the Ledger sends one more note. We'll proceed with the proud dad angle if we don't hear back by end of day. I look at the cursor, steady as a heartbeat. I don't send anything yet. I let the record wait while I decide how loud the truth needs to be. By late afternoon, I stop negotiating with my own caution and open the folder I labeled for rainy days. I build the packet like a project plan. Contracts with totals blacked out but signatures clear. Invoices with dates that match travel. Calendar logs from the nights I pitched at 11 p.m. and again at 6 a.m. Emails where clients say, you saved our quarter. Decks with version history that shows who actually did the work. I add screenshots of my health insurance confirmations, because apparently stability needs a picture. I include 3 testimonials, initials only, and a short note. Here are the facts. Use only what you can verify independently. I send it to the Ledger with a line that feels like a seatbelt click. Happy to be on record. I CC Maya, who writes back in 5 words. Got it. Already cross-checking. The waiting is loud. I clean the counter twice. Leo orders takeout and leaves the bag closed so the smell doesn't bully me into a decision I've already made. At 8:13, my phone buzzes with a number I recognize from newsroom email signatures. The reporter's voice is calm, careful. We've confirmed a lot. 2 questions to clarify timeline. I answer both with dates that still live in muscle memory. We hang up on a thank you that sounds like a promise kept. The story drops the next morning at 6:04 a.m. The headline is not soft. When family success becomes family erasing. The leady doesn't bite, it documents. Quotes are small and sharp, placed where they can't be argued with. They pair my receipts with Thomas's public posts, birthday speeches to Mark about grit and drive, captions about raising leaders, photo after photo where I'm cropped at the elbow, blurred, or not there at all. The piece doesn't call him a liar. It doesn't need to. The internet gets to work like a well-funded archive. Someone stitches a collage titled A Father's Feed, Notice Anyone Missing? A thread catalogs the years my name doesn't appear on his page. Another pulls a clip from a Chamber of Commerce luncheon where he says, "My son's in engineering. My wife keeps the rest of us honest," and leaves the empty space after rest of us to do its own talking. By noon, Thomas turns off comments. By 2, the profile goes private. By 4, it's gone. I don't post a victory lap. I answer 3 client emails, reschedule a call, and take a walk around the block. The air is cold enough to keep me honest. When I get back, my inbox is a mix of congratulations and quiet confessions from strangers who recognize the shape of my dinner table. I make tea and let the kettle hiss while the record sits where it belongs, out in the open, saying exactly what it says. By mid-morning, the first corporate statement appears on LinkedIn, pale as hospital light. While we value the dedication of all employees, the personal views expressed by Mr. Lane do not reflect our organization's commitment to innovation and diverse career paths. No names, no scolding, the kind of message drafted by 3 lawyers and a scared VP. It gets screenshot faster than they can heart their own post. At noon, Uncle Ron calls from the parking lot of a hardware store. "Kid, heads up, HR opened an investigation. Media policy, spokesperson rules, all of it. He might be benched." The line clicks as a forklift beeps behind him. "Don't feel guilty," he adds. "He built this corner himself." The email from my mother lands 10 minutes later. Subject, "Please help your father." She keeps it short but crowded. He's terrified. He could lose his job. A simple clarification would calm things. Maybe. My dad supported me privately. I read it twice, then a third time for the part that never comes, the line where she says she's sorry for laughing when he called me unstable. I answer from my desk without standing. "It wasn't one mistake, Mom. It was 30 years of them. I didn't make him give interviews. I won't insure the cost of his choices. If Derek wants advice, he can book a session like anyone else." I hit send and stare at the kettle until it clicks off. The apartment is so quiet I can hear the radiator settle. An hour later, a second memo leaks from Thomas's company. HR words strung together like a fence. Policy review, interim leave, ongoing inquiry. The comments under the reposts split down a familiar fault line. Old colleagues call him a pillar. Younger ones write paragraphs about gatekeepers and closed doors. I don't answer any of it. I answer clients. I send a scope. I eat a late sandwich over the sink and let the crust fall where it wants. Grandma Ruth calls at dusk. No hello. "Have you seen the mess your father made of himself?" Her voice has that brisk warmth that could hold a house together. "I've seen it," I say. "Good," she says. "About time the light did its job." He's going to say I embarrassed the family. He embarrassed himself by never asking you what you do. She pauses, and I can hear her moving a chair, as if making space around the truth. For once, the truth didn't die in this house. I sit on the arm of the couch and let the words land. Outside, the streetlights come on, one by one, polite and unavoidable. Inside, I put my phone face down and let the quiet be the record it is. 2 days later, the email subject line is so plain it almost hides. Feature request. I open it and stand very still. Vision magazine wants a full profile. Method, background, rise. By afternoon, the editor is on Zoom, calm voice, direct questions, no sugar. When we hang up, my inbox fills like a tide. Conference invites, podcast asks, a venture firm wanting to discuss structure. I say no to most. I say yes to the work. At 7:42 p.m., a text flashes from a Singapore number I've been chasing since spring. "Saw your ledger follow-up. Let's do business." We talk that night. It's all numbers and timelines, clean and respectful. At the 58-minute mark, we land the scope. He emails the agreement before the call ends. I read it twice, then sign. $380,000. Delivery in phases. Keynote at their leadership summit in March. I sit back, not smiling, just measuring the quiet. It fits. Near midnight, Vision confirms the cover. The mock-up arrives. Me against a city skyline, headline firm and unkind to doubt. Success on her own terms, Aria Lane. I forward it to Maya with a single line. You were right about timing. The next morning, Mark texts. I read everything. I should have defended you. I'm sorry. It's short, not dressed for effect. I look at it a long time and answer with something that doesn't erase either of us. Thank you. That means something. No absolution, no theater, just a small, honest bridge. The envelope shows up at my office 2 days after that. No return address, but the handwriting knows me. I let it sit on the desk while I finish a client call. When I open it, the paper is thick, the ink a little uneven like he pressed too hard. Aria, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't know if I deserve it. Your uncle made me look through old albums. You're barely in them. I never noticed. I told myself I was being practical, that I was protecting you. Truth is, I was scared. If your way worked, what did that say about how I spent my life? Seeing you succeed without me, despite me, is hard. I'm proud of you. I should have said it years ago. Dad. I read it once with disbelief, again with anger, and a third time with something quieter. It isn't a clean apology. It isn't a grab for credit either. It's human. I slide the letter into the same drawer that holds the vision proof. Not forgiveness, not revenge, just room. When Leo leans in the doorway and asks, "Good news?" I say, "Enough," and mean it. The phone lights up with another calendar invite. I accept, close the drawer, and let the day keep moving. Morning finds my office before I do. Light lays itself across the desk, slow and certain, touching the 2 frames on the credenza. FutureWorks on the left, Vision on the right. 2 versions of the same truth, both mine. I set a cranberry red mug beside the keyboard and open the agenda for a London kickoff. Scope, milestones, ownership, clean lines. Nothing to explain. Leo taps the door with his knuckle and leans in. You good? Actually, I am, I say, surprised at how easy it is to mean it. The screen blinks to life. London joins on time, cameras on, no small talk pretending to be trust. We walk through the plan. I outline risks and how we'll reduce them. They meet me like adults in a room that doesn't need a chaperone. When we settle resourcing, I see my reflection in the window, steady, unbent by glass. We wrap on next steps. Not applause. It's better that way. After the call, I sign 2 SOWs, push a deck to a client portal, and answer a note from a founder who says my article let her stop arguing with a wall. I tell her what I wish someone had told me sooner. Keep receipts, set prices, choose rooms where you don't have to beg for a microphone. She writes back a thank you that reads like a promise to herself. My phone buzzes on the corner of the desk. A message from Mark. Mom's making roast tonight. No ask, no hint, just weather. I type, I hope it's good. Tell her to keep it warm. Then I stop, delete the second sentence, and send the first. Boundaries don't need embroidery. The mail arrives in a soft thud against the door. Trade journals, an invite, a hand-addressed card from a client's HR lead. Your clarity saved us months. I slide it under the paperweight globe on the shelf and let it sit with the others. Proof has a way of making its own weather. Sometime after lunch, my browser surfaces yesterday's headlines. Think pieces, panels, podcasts, experts analyzing fathers and daughters and the polite violence of being edited out. I close the tab. The noise is no longer my job. Work is. At 4, I step back and look at the room the way you look at a place you used to want to escape. The covers hold their ground without shouting. The red mug leaves a faint ring I'll wipe later. Outside, traffic hums a familiar chord. Inside, the air goes quiet in that particular way. Earned, not borrowed. For years, my story needed their approval to be real. It turns out, it never needed applause. It needed a record and someone willing to keep it.